license.
The UK police are not innocent.
Listen, there is a worldwide war on us as a race, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that I think we're going to be fighting for generations to come, yeah? But what's even more sad is that we are partaking in that war against ourselves.
I was about to ask you that question as well. Because a lot of conversations I've been having with people is saying that, okay, if we're going to fight the agenda on police brutality, are we also fighting the war against us killing us? Are we highlighting that within our movement as well?
Me and Jay had this discussion as well.
As you saw that day, I left you two to have that discussion. I was just reading what you were saying.
Yeah, like I stand with the thing where I believe it's all part of the big agenda, innit? Like, remember, it's about the little battles. So yes, they are individual battles. Police brutality is one battle, and then you got us killing each other as another battle. But it's part of the same war. You understand? We're still being eradicated, whether it be ourselves or the police doing it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, how can, if I'm a man that I go on ride outs and I'm drilling and I'm doing this, how can I scream Black Lives Matter when I'm consciously killing? And remember, I'm not killing men that live in Scotland and I'm killing men that live down the road from me. Man that we probably went to school together. And that's where it is. Let's say, look, Northwest we live in. Everyone is pretty much walking distance from each other. And this is who we're killing. But then we can scream Black Lives Matter.
So what you're saying is we need to take time and look at ourselves in the mirror and have a deep reflection of ourselves, basically.
Remember, we said education starts at home. It's the exact same principle. It's when we're looking at our smaller communities, there's things that we can tackle. Even if we don't have the power to go against the government, we do have a lot more influence in our local, smaller communities to influence those issues. And hopefully, I could be wrong, but hopefully these things, because we unify, they start to spread outwards. As opposed to, let's ignore these smaller ones and try to tackle this big one. You understand? While Black Lives Matter are going on, 3 adults and a child just got shot the other day, round the corner from where we live. You understand what I'm saying? So I just...
Go on.
Now, I just think that is an issue as well that we cannot afford to ignore. Because over the years, we've had Mothers Against Guns, we've had Not Another Drop, we've had all of these things, and we protest, we protest, we march, and then it fades away again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think there's kind of like two prongs to that, and again, obviously, we kind of spoke about this earlier in the week, but I feel like one side of it is the man them don't value each other, and it's as simple as that. We don't value each other's lives, and that can come from a place of self-hatred, that can come from a place of conditioning, that we don't value the next man's life. You know what I mean? I think that's one prong of it, and I think that affects a lot of the man. They just don't value life. They just don't value the man's life. They're not even seeing color. They're just on riding out ops. That's all they see is ops. They're not even seeing color. They're just seeing ops. And on the other side of it, you've got the people that kind of almost get caught up in it for whatever reason, whether it's poverty, ignorance, education, whatever it might be, but they just kind of get caught up in it. And I feel like until you kind of know which prong you're dealing with, because I feel like they both, because you can get man out, there's man in poverty with that self-hatred mentality as well, and that's just like fueling his attacks on his own people. You can get man who didn't come from poverty, who grew up in nice homes, got what they wanted and everything, but that self-hatred side of them is that they don't even realize that they're killing their own for nothing really. So I think it's one of the things that's hard to tackle. And we spoke about even just before we came on here, like certain man, you gotta write them off. Like, especially with what's happening now, if they're not really understanding and getting and deep in just how toxic and how detrimental they're being to our people, if they're not seeing it now, not getting it now, then they probably never will. So I really hope with what's happening now, the man them are sitting up and thinking, you know what, we need to do better. We need to do better. It's because there's probably a lot of people who have lost life for bullshit, for utter bullshit. Where if the man them look back at it and think, oh, if we just actually sat down and spoke, and we know what's frustrating about most of it, more time with these killings, if it's for some issue or beef, more time, you probably know someone who's close to that person that could facilitate some sort of dialogue.
Yep.
Your cousin knows him, or you are cousins with him. That's how deep it gets sometimes. Like,
all right, but remember, we're in a society, I think we spoke about it a few weeks ago, where there's not a lot of balance in a lot of kids' life, a lot of young people. So you grew up in single parent households. So for example, your mother if you grew up with your mom's so concerned with keeping you safe and fed and roof over your head and all of these things, that the external side, like what happens outside, sometimes you can't keep up with. Whereas if you had both, or you had that father figure, that might be the person that's able to step in and be like, wait, you're beefing with him. Wait, I know his dad. That's my brethren. And you know what I'm saying? You can facilitate that dialogue. But once again, it comes down to what we're saying, the education of our more localized communities. So if we educated the younger generation, our children's age groups, so when they're growing up, they're not so disconnected. It's not based upon, oh, but you live in that estate and I live in this estate. It will be more of a unified, I message you because you look like me. You understand? Like,
because when you deep it, like for instance, when I was in school, like all of us were from different estates. We were from South Kilburn Bridge, Church Road, Kensal Rise, whatever. But we were patrons. I remember when I was in year 11, someone in my brother's year that had left like a year before was like, we took like one group photo. I put it on my Snapchat the other day. And I remember before I left school, a man said to me, you lot ain't gonna be veterans 6 months after you finish school. I mean, nah, these guys for life. I spent the last 5 years going to their houses, linking up with them on the weekends. Like, we're like this. I could say, how many years ago did I leave school? 16 years ago, something like that. I could say probably about, if there was about 15 of us in that photo, it's about 5 men from that photo that I'm cool to this day. And it just shows that once we left school, we all went back to our environments. Like, I went back to my ends, they went back to their ends, and we no longer had to leave that ends to come and meet every Monday till Friday. It showed who got taken by the ends, like who fell into the, we don't like them man, they're over there. You ain't going there no more, like, we're beefing them. It showed who picked up the lifestyle. So it's down to education. That's down to education.
Do you know what the problem is, though? I feel like as much as we talk about problems, a lot of the time we don't discuss solutions. We just talk about what the issue is and how long it's been going on for.
When I say education, it's to educate, to say to me is, all right, cool. Even though I live here, what's going on here against what's going on over there, I do not have an impact in that. It has nothing to do with me. That's going on with these people. But because we have this loyal to the code thing, especially as man them, you automatically get involved. I don't like them man there over there because he doesn't like them. So where do you get to the solution?
All right, I think things, and I was never a man that played sports, but I think things like team sports play a very big part in unifying people. You understand? If you're on a team with a bunch of men, regardless of what ends you're from, and every Saturday morning, you and these men, after you've left school, forget school days, every Saturday morning, you link up with these men, you kick ball, and you're from 5 different ends. If something kicks off, you see a man on the road, it's easy for you to then go, nah. You see him? That's my people still. We kick the ball. Something as small as a football team could unify people. I know it sounds very trivial.
No, you're right.
No, you're right. You're right.
The other day with A.
Yeah, we had a conversation with A the other day. And you're right, because what? A lot of man play for Brent. A lot of man kicks ball for Brent. There's a lot of man that bedrooms can kick in ball. I remember there was clubs like Willows, St. Andrews that were Brent football teams. A lot of man kicked ball. Even after school. There's even certain times where, as 30-year-old man like myself will go and kick ball and you're bucking, man, from, oh snap, I don't even know you know that one. Like
this is what it is. This is what I'm trying to say.
It's there, but it's a small minority because unfortunately the ends swallow some people.
Yeah.
It is. And not to say like, the ends just swallow. Some people are the brickwork to the ends, isn't it? Not trying to say, they're washed or anything. No, not even that. It's just that they believe that I'm here and I'm here for this cause, innit? And I'm here to, that's the ops over there. I'm right out against
but I believe that's because they weren't shown another way young enough.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is we don't have youth clubs, because I remember I used to go youth club in every end. I'm talking South Kilburn, Grove, Mozart. I used to just travel wherever they
you
was.
Had what was it? OK Club, Avenues, Acorn,
Granville, Acorn, Annex.
It was Annex.
Now they used to have raves in there. Yeah, but they used to have raves.
Yeah,
but what I'm trying to say to you is, there was a stage where we could literally float around to wherever they was playing music. Wherever there was a set or something, we would float around to these clubs. And to this very day, when I see man from different ends, it's the same love. Well, long time. What I'm trying to say, because we don't have that no more. We don't have Acorn. We don't have none of the. We don't have any. There's Wembley Club. We don't have anything that is centralized. Because what happens is, all the things that we could go to, they're in somebody's ends now. So you're going to alienate a whole nother set of people from linking up there.
Yeah.
Hence why I say things like football, it's a universal language. You could link up with a man that doesn't speak English, but if you kick ball, you and him can get on. So that's why I think like...
Jay, we played with a couple of men that couldn't speak English.
I think... Yeah, and you just know what's going on. So I think we... to implement change, to talk about solutions, we have enough power within us. We know enough people within our circle that we can easily say, all right, cool. You've got a child, you've got a child, you've got a child. Here's what we're going to do then. Everyone link up on a Saturday. And even if we can't see each other, let the kids come. And we make them kick ball together. Because remember, we're grown now. We're not part of any of the madness. But if we do not take charge of our children in the correct way, they could fall into that madness with people that they should grow up like family with. You understand?
Yeah. No, that's right. Because if you look at my guy, Mr. P Penguin, me, Penguin, and Scalzi, that's something we started to do. We started to, because we was like, hold on, how are we bedrooms? We got kids. How are we linking up like every day or every other day? Well, our kids don't know each other. It's sort of like for instance, the era that we came from, I saw my cousins when I think about like every weekend, whether they were from South, North, East. Our parents made it the essential goal for us to look so close that and one thing I always say is when there was family beef and the elders weren't talking, us as kids didn't care because we still linked up and, did our thing that when the elders looked, we're like, okay, so even though we're warring, but our kids are still cool. My son's going to this house and even though I'm not chatting to the parents, do you know what I mean? So it was one of those ones where we sat down and we looked like, nah, every other weekend, we're going to link up and we're going to get the kids and we're taking them, even if it's cinema, we're taking them cinema. And I was actually chatting to P the other day, and he was like, I was like, yo, when you come home, yo, we're starting this again, with the kids, like, we're bringing them together. If it's every 2 weeks, but you got to get all the man them involved. All the kids. Like,
but this is where it is. This is what I'm trying to say. The smaller solutions. When we're talking about this monolithic problem, it's hard to see how we're going to battle through this, isn't it? So when we can talk about, all right, then something. Let's start with the kids linking up. We're talking about a Saturday school. All right, cool. How can we make this happen? What do we need to put in place to get these kids to value themselves, to understand who they are and where they come from? How do we do this? I'm all about a solution right now. And if we can't solve the bigger problem, maybe we should then try and tackle some of the smaller ones in hope that makes a bigger impact in the future.
Yeah, no, that's fact. That's
100%.
I mean,
because you never know, your son or daughter can end up marrying the so-called Ops' child.
You know what it is? It's possible.
It is possible because, all right, we live in a very, very small city.
Right.
We live in Northwest 10, a very, very... I'm not even talking about the rest of Northwest. I'm just segregate Northwest 10. We live in a very, very small community where everyone knows each other. I didn't have to go to school with you to know you. I could know you through someone else.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have to go to school with Jay. I could know Jay through someone else, or Jay could know me through someone, vice versa. You get me? I swear you and Jay went to the same school, didn't even realize you went to the same school too. We all started working together. You see how mad that is?
But this is the thing. Like,
but it's one of those ones where it's like we live in such a small community, we all know each other. So when we're here beefing each other, it's silly because you could be beefing your best friend's cousin. How does that make sense? So what, you beefing your best friend's cousin, then you kill your best friend's cousin. Now I got to attend my cousin's funeral who my best friend killed. Like, where's the dynamics? And then you don't, if it's the ends I'm rolling with, or is it my family? And it's like a power struggle. You're confused.
But this is it.
You don't even know what you're loyal to no more.
But I live in a weird sense of state of fear. I've got 3 sons. My eldest is going secondary school in September. So to me, I'm like, how do I teach you to navigate a world that I didn't grow up in? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't fear next man when I was going to school or seeing somebody like that. I didn't fear them. Could you understand? When I was going to school, I'd wake up in the morning, phone my brethren, I'd be in Stonebridge for the whole day. Then I might go to St. Raph's and check another friend. And then we all link up and go all the way to Kilburn because that's just what we was on that day.
Yeah.
So I'm really like worried as to how do I teach my child to navigate this world that I am not a direct part of.
Yeah.
It's going to be challenging.
We didn't have boundaries in our time. We were able to go to...
And the thing is, there was still war. But the older lot that were in war did not... They did not pay any attention to kids. You lot are kids, you lot do you. But we spoke about this before. It takes a village to raise a child. When we was younger, the older lot, if you try to be around them, they'll tell you move. You're not even coming around it. These same older bad men that were doing this and that, they would still help your mum with shopping if they saw her.
Because manners and respect.
Exactly. So it's a whole different time. So it's like, what do we have to do now to empower our children to see past the materialistic things that draw people in, to the ignorance that make me want to harm you because you looked at me. I don't even know why you looked at me. You looked at me and I wasn't feeling it. So instead of either ignoring it or having a conversation about it, now you're just my enemy. I'll be honest with you, I'm stupid. I've got people that I had a problem with in school. And when I say a problem, it wasn't even that deep. We were in school. Yeah? And to this very day, if we see each other, you can feel the tension. I left school 17 years ago. And yet, if I'm in a place with this person, you can still feel like something's not quite right. We don't have to be the best of friends, but we should be able to acknowledge each other because it was 17 years ago and it really weren't that deep.
Mm.
Mm.
So even stuff like that, it's a unlearn and relearn kind of thing that we got to put in place.
Yeah. I think first and foremost we need to like teach the youth to literally, and even ourselves, like to just have that undying love for our people type of thing, innit? Like, I feel like once you can get to that point where you look at the man them as your brother and not just another black guy, or do you get me? Like, we literally have to see each other and be like, my brother, my sister. Like, we have to develop that undying love for our people, because we only have ourselves at the end of the day. You know what I mean? No one else ain't gonna help us. No one else ain't gonna help us. So we need to get to that point where we can look at each other and be like, if I see something that ain't right over there, I'm gonna do what I can because that's my brother. If that lady over there, the old lady across the road, I can see that, you know, I ain't seen her in a minute, I'm gonna go knock on her door to see how she is and make sure she's cool. Like the simple little things, like I feel like we take for advantage. Like you said, back in the day, it was normal for a man to have manners and respect. Like you'd see the youths them on the bus. It's not your youth, but you'd be like, yo, fix up. We would listen. Listen. We ain't
because people don't even want to tell the youth to fix up on the bus. They don't know the youth's got
we're gonna attack them.
Yeah, it's like the younger they are, the more dangerous they are, bro.
This is it. The youngers, back in the day, the olders had control and they would put us in place if they needed to. Now, it seems like the youngers are the ones that are in control and they're the ones that are running.
Because they're reckless. They're trying to earn stripes. Everything is based upon ego and pride.
So we need to literally rein them back in. And like we said before, coming, we need to start with those ones where they're still impressionable, where we can still get in there and just flip them. You know what I mean?
But even terminology, even the way we greet each other can start to change our mindset. You understand? Because as you said, brother, even something as small as that, if you keep on addressing someone as that, or king, or you understand, there's certain empowering words you can say to someone that will make them act in a certain way over time, because they start to believe in this word. That it's like our kids. If you got a daughter, perhaps you know, you call your daughter a princess enough, they start to adjust and start to behave a little bit too princessy, and you have to stop them.
I've allowed this stuff.
No, but you have to stop them because they start to behave.
You kind of like give them that
into them.
I am a princess. I am, you know what I mean?
All right, Jay, even your son's name is powerful in itself. Just his actual name is powerful. Do you understand? So it shows you just by what we address our kids at, whether it be their actual name or what we call them, they start to like adapt to that.
Yeah.
That's why it's very important the names you give your kids, man.
Very important to give your kids, and very important the language, because like you said, there's not the whole positive stuff. It's like the same with the negative stuff. If you keep calling a child stupid, or you know what I mean, eventually they just start to believe that I'm stupid, or I can't.
Because if the person closest to you is calling you that's your parent, the one you look up to, then it must be true, because they're not going to lie to you.
My parents gave me a slave name, so I'm not a bit too happy with them.
Listen, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you call someone something, is the more that's gonna manifest into.
100%. You know what I mean?
100% act up to your labels. 100%.
Yeah, 100%, man. You know,
because we've all done it. Have you never been accused of something and you're like, right, if you're gonna keep on saying that this is what I'm doing, fine, I'm gonna act like it and show you.
You will do it. You will.
Like, but man, do it with women. Are you gonna keep accusing me of cheating?
I was waiting for him to say that. You know, I'm waiting for him to go there. You know, you can see that. You know, man turned into the road, fam. He was getting ready to just.
But that's what it is.
Like, she's accused me 10 times. Yes, like right now, I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, these times I weren't doing it before, but all right, cool.
You're giving me enough power to do it.
Yeah, but this is what it is.
You still deny when you get caught, yeah?
Bye. But Brad, like, are you alright? Quick thing, are you not gonna go into any of these marches?
I might go tomorrow, you know.
You're gonna go?
I might go tomorrow.
But we're recording. I was hoping to go today, but we're recording.
Do you honestly believe that these marches are gonna make a difference?
Yeah, but it's
I'll be real with you. I don't know. I don't know. But it's a start. It's better to have a start than not. But then I just hope it. Oh, sorry, Jay.
Go on.
I just hope they don't fade out with like the other protesters, like not another drop and
Mothers Against Guns and all of that.
Yeah, I just hope that, and not to say they have faded up because I still believe they are there, but I just hope that these marches kind of create like an electrical wave to then reach. If this is the big one, and then we've got the sub little ones, which are these ones. Let's connect the dots. Let's start connecting the dots now. Let's make Black Lives Matter in all areas to Black people.
But this is what I'm trying to say to you, and this is my argument to it. Black lives need to matter to us all the time, every day. We can't say, as much as I understand there are issues with white supremacy and all of that, we can't say Black Lives Matter, but only attribute it to when we are being killed by somebody else. We have to have Black Lives Matter consistently. I understand that within our areas it's a smaller problem and blah, 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 but it has to matter all the time. You can't say it matters, but then be, going back to our colorism topic, be degrading our own. You understand? You can't be saying Black Lives Matter, but then be like, yeah, but I still have to go get my man. I still have to go ride out on him. It can't make sense.
It defeats the purpose.
Exactly. Black lives have to matter all around. So then we will have more of a unified voice because we are loving each other consistently. Of course, it's not going to happen because there's division in every community, whether it be Chinese, Jewish, Indian. There's division. I understand that. I'm not trying to.
Unfortunately, we will always have black on black crime. We will have.
Yeah, but there's white on white crime. There's Jewish on Jewish crime.
Yeah, there's white on white crime.
It's just like it is.
It's just our crime gets highlighted. And,
yeah, exactly. The whole black on black crime is like it's a myth, and it's something that they use to make
buzzwords.
It like we are.
Well, apparently, stats show there's more white on white crime than there is on black crime.
Facts, man.
Because there is more of them in this country.
Yeah.
It's just by numbers. Logic states, numbers, we are a minority. So therefore, we cannot kill on the same scale that they can because we do not have the same amount of people. It's just factual.
Another thing I just want to throw in here, yeah? And I want to throw it in as a question, but I want to say my piece first, yeah? We don't give a right damn about Madeleine McCann no more, innit? Yeah.
I don't even want to.
You spent 11 million.
Bring that into
no, because you see, the reason I brought that in here is because the version they tried to create with that. You've caught a man in German prison that apparently was there when she got. Listen,
all right, bro, but we knew this was gonna happen.
Hold on, and now
remember, COVID's gonna come out. COVID's gonna come back to cancel it out again. You know?
Hold on, okay. and Jem, and to what did you say? Now they believe Madeleine McCann's dead. I could have written that for free that Madeleine's dead because she ain't appearing nowhere. And again, it just shows. Again, and I want to say, not all white people are bad. Because...
most definitely not.
I come across some lovely white people. Cool as hell. I got a couple of teachers that, till this day that are white, I still get contacts on Facebook and, they wanted to see us, the black youths in school, win. But then when you got these white arseholes, sorry, excuse my French, like Katie Hopkins, yeah, and they chat shit, yeah. All right, we don't give a fuck about Madeleine.
But all right, Katie Hopkins, yeah, is a troll. That is her job to come out here and cause distractions. The minute we talk about her, we're giving her more power.
Exactly.
Of course.
So Katie Hopkins, like
these are us. Piers Morgan, I don't know.
But they're all cut from the same cloth, fam. let's not even entertain it. The Daily Mail, The Sun, Katie Hopkins, Piers Morgan, they are all cut from the same ignorant troll-based cloth. That's who they are. They're over there. They need to exist because the world needs balance. Yeah, they need to exist. It's a fact.
The other day, when that photo came up on Sunday, someone thought that she got beat up, and I was like, nah, man, we don't need violence on that woman. We actually need her to exist. Because when she does her foolishness, it actually brings us more attention.
But it triggers certain discussions. Mm-hmm. Let her be who she wants to be. Yeah, I just think that we as a people need to focus more on what we can do as opposed to what for someone like her is attempting to stop. You understand? Just focus on ourselves. That's it.
I can't say
Madeline, I'm not even going to talk about her because that's the point. They want people to talk about her. I ain't even going to talk about her. Katie Hopkins, she can go and play in traffic, bro. The North Circle, I'll go play in that, and we're all good. And that's all I got to say on those two topics.
But I want to shout out somebody like George the Poet. Yeah, when George the Poet went and done his interview, was it on Channel 4?
Yeah.
George the Poet, he repped correctly.
He always does, man.
He repped correctly. The man was out there in a Benjart tracksuit on Channel 4,
he always does.
Talking major sense. You understand? People like that we need to discuss.
But John, my man from Star Wars, John
Boyega.
Yeah.
Boyega.
Mm-hmm.
His powerful speech in Hyde Park.
And yep, he took a stand, and
the man said, "I don't care about my job. If I lose it, I lose it. It is where it is."
That's what we need, man. We need people in those positions to start speaking up. We do. We need everybody to start speaking up. Everybody's voice needs to be heard. And I feel like, I don't want to be wrong. I really don't want to be wrong, but I just feel like this time is different, innit? I'm not saying we're going to be protesting every week, but I just feel like this is just level one of it. This is just level one of it. And I do feel like we're going to go to a level 2 of it. There's been a lot of talk about people starting to hold certain brands accountable for what they're doing, and because a lot of the money they make is from us. So there's been a lot.
A lot of high street fashion and fashion brands wouldn't survive without black culture.
This is it. This is our saying.
They wouldn't survive without our music, the way we dress, or who we are. Like, when I was watching the Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, and I'm looking at the numbers alone, he was Nike's first sports representative. Nike didn't really get into sports. He took Nike to the next level that they are. He actually single-handedly took Nike to the next level. Because Nike, those times, Converse, Puma, Reebok, Adidas were, the sportswear. And it just makes you sit there and think, Christian Louboutin. If I'm correct, he came out that saying, I didn't even know he was black. Or had black in him. But
who?
Was it Christian Louboutin?
I don't know.
One of them high street fashion guys put out a post saying that he was racially abused in school for being different. Like, I think black and I don't know if it was him. I'll find it just to correct myself. But stuff like LV, Gucci, all of these stuff would not survive without black people. When you look at hip, like just black music in general in the States, like Cristal, all of these, like cars, we actually bumped the percentage of those companies. We helped them rise, and what do we get back from them? Nothing.
But do you know what? It's naming all of these companies. Do you know what's sad? We will rep all of these things that have nothing to do with us. But then the man them that are closer to us, same as we put up the clip on the podcast page, T-Pain saying it. We don't keep that same energy when we get things from people that we know. When we'll wear clothes and we'll go and say, "Oh, tracksuits £100," and I don't know. But then we'll spend, and we've all done it.
Been
We've all done it. But we've spent £300-400 on a singular pair of trainers. We've done it together.
Yeah.
and I respect, and I'll always remember when Benja put this up, when he rebranded, brought out a whole new line to his collection, and he brought out the jackets that were like $420, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, who is he to put up his price?" And his simple fact was, you would go Canada Goose and pay £600 to £800 for a jacket. But me, someone from the ends that's trying to make it, you lot are complaining, saying my price is too expensive. And that's the real fact is, we will go and support these other brands, but when we're seeing one of our own trying to, make it out, we're looking at, he's ripping us off.
But it's a mentality with anything. You man hold raves. People will gladly go spend £20 in West End to get to a rave. But if you say to them, "Right, I'm selling tickets for a tenner," man, I'm like, "Boy, what? Man's known you for time, what? You can't bust me on a ticket."
It's real factual. I've heard that. Your rave, man, it's got too much people there. Basically, my rave's too niggerish. But you blatantly go to West End, stand in the queue, and get
you too tough.
You can't get in because there's two of you, and you just go. Dave, remember when we went to, where did we go? Was it Chelmsford that time? That place?
Yeah. It was Chelmsford. And we literally go like groups to get in.
Yeah, we booked a table. We had a table, everything. We was gonna spend money, and security said to us, any trouble that happens in there, you lot are out. Even if it, and I believe that he meant, even if it had nothing to do with us. But if it facilitated in the area that we was in, we were getting dashed up. And these were the reasons why when we first started doing this, I was like, bro, I'm sick and tired of going to Central and being told, I've got to come in with 2-3 people. Let me give something back to people from my space of the woods, and people that like to rave the way I rave. Let's give something back to them. And that's where it all came from. But you still get people that are close to me that, oh man, I don't know, man. Like, completely, not to be rude, would be up in a rave that they spent £30 in. And again, I ain't racist, for the white people.
Leave, man. No, leave it in there.
To license it.